Okay, hey, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be going into a fairly detailed and examination on the common sight glass. This is your typical fitting that you find on steam boilers, smaller steam boilers as it were. It's generally the one you're going to run into is made by the Combraco company of Matthews, North Carolina. And usually what you have here is a sight glass protection rod. Most of the time you'll find they're made of steel, and due to leaks and so forth, they're rusted into the bottom fitting there, and you have to break them free. Sometimes they just break right off there, unfortunately. So that's what they look like on the inside. The top one does not have a valve or a drain. The bottom one has what is, I guess you'd call it a drain. It's really a plug. Generally what we do is unthread it and keep this because it makes a handy 1/4 inch National Pipe thread plug in a pinch. We usually recommend a sight glass blowdown valve there. This is a relatively easily available one. You can probably get it at supplyhouse.com. There's a part number and the manufacturer. So takes care of that. This is one that was, this is a different model, harder to get a hold of. It was taken out of service because it got leaked on. That's a cross section of the ball valve there. You can see the Teflon seals, and the ball itself is gone, rotated by that. This is a old laundry hose that was used as a drain. Unfortunately, when it gets wet, it tends to bond with the brass, and this becomes unusable. Well, that's what it looks like on the inside for the most part. So this is the seal there. It's a very small hole. As you thread it in with the handle, that's where the seal forms. So this side is threaded into the boiler. This is generally 1/2 inch male thread, and as you can see, it's pretty crusty in there. A lot of dirt will collect in there, and that's why you periodically want to drain it. This is the gasket, and this is a friction ring, and that's a cross section of the nut. This is what the nut looks like on the outside, of course. One of the things which can catch one unawares is that almost all Combraco products that I know of have a friction ring that looks like it's brass, but it's not. It's steel. Now that's really not a problem, but what'll happen is that this has been cleaned up with vinegar. It was pretty corroded. On the inside, though, you can, I think, see that. Let me see if I can get a close-up. Pardon me, I'm going to readjust the camera here and try for a close-up. Is that going to work? No, come on. Let's see. Nope, no good there. All right, so anyway, I think you can see that the remains of the steel washer is embedded itself and bonded to the nut and made the nut worthless. Vinegar, several hours of soaking didn't clean it up, so it turned that into scrap. So you want to insist on rings that are non-magnetic. They want to insist on brass. A magnetic is not bad per se. This is stainless. It's weakly magnetic, but it's stainless and will resist rusting. This is found in products, usually Burnham, U.S. Boiler, will insist on these being made of stainless. So good on them. So let's take this out here. You can see it's fire polished on the end. This is the nut. There again is the spindle. And a lot of times if you you can take this cleaning rod, and it's got a 3/16. You can use it to force your way through any sludge that collects in this area here and get this operational. Sometimes this leaks even though you've tightened it up, and trick that I use is to get a hold of some thick Teflon tape, usually a half-inch thick, half-inch diameter, but it's got to be fairly thick. You don't want the really cheap stuff. I think Blue Monster makes a fairly thick Teflon tape that you'll be able to spindle like that and form a sort of impromptu packing. And then you can wrap this around, and doesn't have to be pretty, mind, it just has to work. And you can tighten that down and stop the leak. Generally there are two handles. There's the alloy handle with the like so. There is also, you run into the phenolic resin handle that fits either the large or small spindle. Sometimes you'll see, this is another example, long type, sometimes they're short, and then this is one with a thick spindle and a large nut. You can see this has been rode hard and put away wet. There's the rust formed on the inner slip ring there. Clean it up with vinegar, put it back into operation without too much trouble. So let's see what else. Occasionally, the thread size on this, just if you ever run into one that's been metricated, in order to fit the standard nut here in North America, you want to run into something, I don't know if you can read that, 15/16 by 18 thread. So this is marked for sight glass, and this, if you run this down, this will that'll clean up the threads pretty nicely. You can get a hold of yourself one of those. Every once in a while you're going to run into an old style spindle with a freaking hole in it, and when you go to take the handle off, the little cross piece that's in there will drop and disappear into the bottom of the boiler room. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, I'll have a 1/8" thick finishing nail that I can then take a little cheese saw and cut something no more than 3/4 of an inch long, and that can fit in the cross piece there, but you got to be careful, that'll drop right out very quickly. Sometimes I have a pair of like 12-inch bolt cutters. I got it from Harbor Freight. Right now they're being camera shy. I can't find it in this what AVE would call the Empire of Dirt, my own Empire of Dirt. If you're really up against it, you might be able to take a I think this is what 12 gauge wire, and that'll kind of sort of get you out. The screw in here is a 1024 usually Phillips. There it is, Combraco. Yeah, there we are. And I think that about covers everything I wanted to talk to. This video is going on for fairly long. I appreciate those of you who have stuck with it. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you on the next one. Be safe and stay well.